What's up everyone? I'm back with another video. In this one, I'm going to be ranking all 35 weapons in Last Day on Earth. I've done a video where I ranked all guns, and a video where I ranked all melee weapons, but this one's going to be both of them ranked in one list. If you enjoy, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. And with that said, let's begin. Coming in at dead last is the fishing rod. This isn't even a weapon primarily, and it shows. This weapon only has 8 hits and is just bad. Now slightly better is the paddle. This weapon is a cool cosmetic, but with its super slow swing speed and low damage, it just gives it enough to not be the worst. Not much better, but better is the torch. This weapon's good because it helps light up the zone. Other than that, it's a pretty bad weapon. Now we got the hammer. This weapon only does a whopping 8 damage. That's it. The only reason it isn't last is because it has a crazy fast swing speed. Of all the guns, the Winchester is by far the worst. This weapon is straight up trash. The only thing this weapon is good for is a chance at a steel bar when recycling it. On a more positive note, the guitar is a really cool looking melee weapon, but on the not so positive side, it's a glorified paddle. The zip gun has a similar fate to the Winchester. The only thing it's good for is getting steel in my recycler, but I will give it points for being good for newer players when fighting frenzied giants. Next up's the makeshift bat. This weapon's alright for players fresh to the game, but after that, it's kinda just there. But again, I'll give this weapon points for being craftable. The crossbow is another weapon that doesn't have the greatest attack speed, but it does have some good damage, and is a really cool weapon to use, and something I have fun using. A weapon similar to the crossbow is the harpoon. The only reason the harpoon is higher is because it's more fun to use than the crossbow. I think it's really fun to watch the zombies' bodies fly. Now at 25 I got the stop sign. This weapon has had mixed feelings about it in the past, and I think I would like it better if it did a bit more damage for its slow speed. I guess it's good for beginners, but after that it's pretty mid. The Colt is a weapon that on paper isn't good. It has a super slow firing speed, and its damage isn't the greatest, but I like it because you feel like a badass when shooting it. Next up's the spear. This weapon's only this high because it is practically free, only costing 3 wood. And it's also good to pay the raiders, but in terms of being a weapon, its only good quality is its range. 22 is the shovel. This is the point in the list where the weapons are pretty mid, and that's the best word I can use to describe the shovel. Now we got the golf club. This weapon's got a decently fast swinging speed, and its damage isn't terrible, and it's an easy weapon to get. 20 is the baseball bat. This weapon's really fun to use if you have the active skill on it, which has a bleeding effect. 19 is the crowbar. This weapon only does 17 damage, but good because I think it has the fastest swinging speed of all the melee weapons. At the midway point, we got the minigun. It does good damage and has a crazy fast speed, but its cooldown and slow walking speed hurts its ranking. Now we got, in my opinion, the most underrated weapon on this list, the cleaver. This weapon is actually really good with a decent damage and a fast attack speed, on top of it being an easy weapon to get. At 16 I got the flare gun. This weapon I think is pretty cool because it has a bleeding effect causing up to 100 damage. Plus it's super fun to watch the zombies' bodies burn. At 15 is a weapon which is basically a melee version of the flare gun. They have the same bleeding effect and are both fun to use. Now we get to the good weapons. 14 is going to be the scythe. This weapon does a 60 damage, which is one of the highest of all melee weapons, but it's also fun to use to slice the bodies to pieces. Only reason it's so low is because it isn't very common. The Skull Crusher on paper is a good weapon, 45 damage, and really good with a sneak attack. But personally, this isn't a fun weapon for me because it's very boring, and is a watered down saw blade mace. Now at 12 I have the milk whore. This may seem low for some of you, but I'm not a huge fan of it. It's good for PD waves, and that's it. Next is the Uzi. This weapon is fun to use with its super fast fire speed and all right damage, but its big downside is without the right mods, there's a lot of recoil. Coming into the top 10, I have the Sawblade Mace. This weapon is good for sneak attacks and is fun if you have the engine active skill mod on it. 9 is the metal pipe. This is also a super underrated weapon, and is my bunker alpha wall trick go-to. It's got good stats, and is actually not super hard to get. 8 is the VSS. I know this feels a little low, but it's not a very common weapon, and is kinda hard to get. I will say it's pretty cool though, that it has a built-in silencer. 7 is the Scar. This is a really fun weapon to use with a fast speed, good damage, and good stability. The only reason it's not top 5 is because you can only get it from raids and floppies. 6 is the M16. This weapon is a watered-down Scar, or AK, but it's much more common of a weapon, and with the right mods, it can have super good stability. 5 is the Katana. This is a super fun weapon to use, and it isn't super hard to get. It does a solid 35 damage with a really good swing speed. This is definitely deserving to be in the top 5. 4 is the AK-47. This weapon's got a nice damage and firing speed, and it's mainly held back by its not so great stability. This weapon's also much more common than the Scar, but much better than the M16, making for the perfect landing spot for it. Number 3 is the shotgun. This weapon, when modded right, can do 80 damage per shot. This weapon's also super fun to use, making the bodies explode and put blood everywhere. At 2 I got the machete. This is the best melee weapon, and the second best weapon overall. This is my go-to for pretty much anything, and is overall just a useful weapon. And of course, number 1 has to be the Glock. This weapon is good for literally anything. Plus, of all the guns, it is the most common. It is most definitely the best, and my favorite weapon in all of Last Day on Earth. And there you have it, all 35 weapons ranked. Editing and making this video took a lot of time, and it would be much appreciated if you went ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you did enjoy, it would also be appreciated if you hit the like button. It helps the video do better and would help out a lot. Also wanted to announce that if this channel is able to hit 500 subscribers before the end of the month of July, I will be doing a giveaway on my Discord. Link in the description. Anyway, with all that said, I hope you have an amazing day. I'm out. Peace.